Okay, today we're looking at page 40. Blank is a relationship between two variables linked by a constant. What is the answer? That's correct. Direct variation. And my writing will not fit on the blank, so it's a little larger. Suppose you make peanut butter sandwiches, each sandwich made with 2 slices of bread and 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. No matter how many sandwiches you make, the ratio between peanut butter and the x variable and the bread y variable remains constant. So looking at the chart, we can tell that the peanut butter and the bread slices remain constant, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, 10, 20, that we can write this as a relationship as y equals k times x, k being the constant. That's correct. So write constant on the blank. It tells you how much x changes when y changes. In the example below, you can see that k is 2. So on the graph, it goes through 0, 0, and then it goes up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. That up 2 over 1 is called the slope. So the slope of the line is 2. Okay, let's scroll down to the bottom now. We have a chart at the bottom, and in the chart we have days and hours. What does the x variable mean above? Well, the x means days, and the y means hours. Excellent. Number 2, write an equation that expresses the direct variation in the table. So when days is 1, y is 24. When days are 2, hours are 48. When days are 3, hours are 72. When days are 4, hours are 96. What is this increasing by each time? 24, that's correct. So if I put in 1 times 24, I get 24. If I put in 2 times 24, I get 48. 3 times 24 is 72. And 4 times 24 is 96. So the equation is y equals 24x. What is the constant in this equation? Y equals 5x. Well, what's in front of the x? 5. So the constant is 5. Number 4, what is the constant variation in this equation? Y equals x. Well, I don't see a number in front of the x, but we always know that if I have 1x, there's a 1 in front of it. So the constant variation is 1. Ooh, this one's tricky. Number 5. What's the constant variation of the equation? Well, there's a 3 in front of the y, and I can't have that. So I need to do 3y divided by 3 to get rid of the 3 in front of the y. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I do to the other. So what's 6 divided by 3? 2. That's correct. So the constant variation is 2. Okay, turn it over on the back. Now we're on lesson 5.5, practice A, direct variation. So tell whether each equation represents a direct variation. If so, identify the constant variation. So for number 1, what is the constant? 4, that's correct. Number 2, what is the constant? 2/3, that is correct. Number 3, what is the constant? 6.3, that is correct. Number 4, what is the constant? Well, if we have a plus 2, do I have a constant direct variation? No, so this is NO. This is not constant variation. Direct variation is not occurring. Number 5, I have a minus 4. No, not direct variation is correct. On number 6, I have 3y equals 6x. Well, you have to change and get rid of the 3. Get rid of the 3. So what's 6 divided by 3? 2. Excellent job. So 2 is the constant for the direct variation. Okay, moving on to the second part, we need to tell whether each of the set of data represents a direct variation. If so, identify the constant variation and write the equation. So looking at the first one, I have 1 is 3, 2 is 6, 3 is 9. Am I increasing by the same number each time? 3, 6, 9. Am I increasing by 3 each time? Yes. So the equation is y equals 3x. 3 is my constant because that's what I'm increasing by each time. Number 8, 1 is 0.25, 2 is 0.5, and 3 is 0.75. What am I increasing by each time? .25. So that is my equation. Y equals 0.25 times x. Number 9. What am I increasing by each time? One. But notice about these numbers. Are these numbers positive or negative? They're negative. So how do I get from a -1 to a positive 1? That's right, I have to multiply by a negative. So what's -1 times -1? 1. So my constant variation is -1. Number 10. Let's look at the pattern. I'm increasing by 3 each time, but am I increasing by 1 each time on the top? No, I'm not. So is this direct variation? No, this is not direct variation. There is no constant, and I cannot write an equation for this table. Okay, let's look at number 11. Am I increasing by the same number of cartons each time? No, I am not. So it's not direct variation. I cannot write an equation for this. Number 12. Am I increasing by the same each time? Yes. And what is my direct variation? No, it's not 15. What's half of 15? 7.5 times x. Because I'm increasing each time by 2 on the top, so I have to remember that if I'm increasing by 15, increasing by 2, 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, let's scroll down to the bottom. Now we're going to identify and tell whether each graph represents a direct variation or not. So we need to think back to what makes it direct variation. Well, to be direct variation, it has to go through, let's 0, 0, that's correct, and it has to have a constant slope. So it has to be increasing at the same rate. Constant rate, it has to go through 0, 0. So number 13, does this go through 0, 0? No, so it's not direct. Number 14, does this go through 0, 0? Yes. Is it increasing at a constant rate? Up 6 over 1, up 6 over 1? Yes. So the equation would be y equals 6x. Because my constant is it's going up 6 and over 1. Up 6 over 1. Okay, now what we're going to do is go to the next page. I want you to try 1 through 6 on your own. Only 1 through 6, and then we'll check our answers. Okay, time is up. So now we're going to go over the answers. The first one is 7. Second one is 0.04. The third one is no. Fourth one is 13. Fourth one is 1/2. And the last one is no. Okay, now I want you to do the next part. Tell whether each set of the data represents the direct variation. If not, identify the constant rate and write direct variation. So write the equation if it has one. If not, then write no. I'm going to give you another 2 minutes to do this. Okay, time is up. So let's look at these answers. For number 7, you should have y equals 1/5 x. 8 equals y equals 5 over 2x. You could have also written 2.5. That is also correct. This would also be 0.2x. Number 9, you should have written y equals 1/3 x, or 0.3 repeating. Number 10 was no. Number 11 was no. And number 12 was no. Okay, let's move to the last part. So looking at the bottom of the paper, you need to tell whether the graph represents direct variation or not. And if so, write the constant. If not, I'm going to give you 1 minute to do this. Okay, let's go over the answer now. So the first answer was, yes, it's direct variation, and the equation is y equals 4x, because it went through 0, 0, and it went up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. Now this one, does it go through 0, 0? No, so this was a no, not direct variation. Okay, last page. So now I want you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to pause it. You have 2 minutes to get this done. When the timer goes off, you are finished. Okay, let's check our answers for 1 through 6. For the first one, you should have 1.5. Second one is 4 1/8. Third one was no. The fourth one was 1/4, or 0.25. This one was no. And number 8 was 0.25. Okay, let's scroll down. Tell whether each set of data represents direct variation. If so, write the equation. If not, write no. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this. Number 7, you should have written y equals 1/5 x. Number 8, you should have, oops, I'm sorry, that's wrong. 7 was no. Number 8 was y equals 0.8x. Number 9 was no, and number 10 was no. Excellent job. So now, I want you to scroll down to the bottom of the paper. Go down to your bottom of the paper. And I want you to look at number 11 and number 12. And answer number 11 and number 12. Okay, let's check your answers. So for the first one, you should have 11, y equals 2x. And then the second one is no. Excellent job. Okay, now take out your exit slips and let's fill out your exit slip tickets.